speaking with the very talented David Buckley. I've been a fan of you for such a long time, but how are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, very nice to actually put a face to a name.
Right. We've interviewed so many times.
Exactly, yeah, I feel like I know you.
So congratulations on Good Wife returning for season 5. You're 5 seasons in now. How has the music evolved? How has it changed? How have you built and expanded that universe from season to season?
Well, I think each season there's tended to be a different focus on the way the show works. I mean, it's as you know, if you watch it, there's obviously a big legal aspect which remains throughout, but the drama is evolving. I seem to recall that in season 2 things were very sort of turbulent in terms of relationships. In season 3 I think things became a little bit more comic, a little bit more surreal, and so forth. So there's sort of global changes as the seasons go on into the tone of the music.
And earlier this year you composed Parker, which was a great action film, great action score, absolutely fantastic. What is the key to a great modern action score? I mean, what is the key to success in that genre?
Well, I think they're tough beasts to crack because, I mean, often your remit is not about being lush and thematic. Well, perhaps not. Often not thematic. The remit's often about providing energy, tension, and sometimes musically that can mean that you can't go to places you might want to go to. That you're sort of forced by the urban surroundings of your movie to live in a certain kind of world. But I think if you can find an emotional context to it, if you can find some kind of theme, albeit subtle and understated, I think it can just add to the sort of overall unifying of the score. So it doesn't just feel like all I'm doing is providing props for the action, but you're actually really adding some kind of personality. That's whenever I work on an action score, I always try and find the emotional content, to whatever degree.
And I mean, you've been classically trained, and you're very well esteemed in all the history of music. How has, in the film score world, how has action scoring changed throughout the decades? Do you think, in terms of maybe just instrumentation, or has action really evolved from the 70s to the 80s to 90s? Is it any different now it was than 10 years ago?
I think it is. I mean, I wouldn't say I was a student in the sort of history of action scoring, but I mean, I think there's. I mean, one thing I've often had with some directors I've worked with is an absolute no-no on brass. We can't use brass. They say that it dates it, sets it maybe in the late 90s, early 20s, to 2000s. So I'm not saying I agree with that, but it's interesting that a few directors have been very clear on that. And as for woodwinds and action scoring, I mean, John Powell's got a little bassoon in the Bourne Identity,
yeah.
But I mean, you don't really hear many oboes or piccolo flutes trilling. So I think there are conventions. Obviously, one doesn't want to live by them, and if one can break them, that's a great thing. But often it's not always in our hands whether we can break these conventions or not. There are some people who say this is how it goes, and your job's on the line if you don't make it go like that.
Well, thank you so much, David. It was great to see you in person, and enjoy tonight. I hope you have a great time. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. Likewise, very good to see you.